Doll's House, when you know Nora's a liar, you know everything that's going to happen, that creates tension. But when the audience is in constant suspense, having no clue what's going to happen, I feel like that adds a lot to it. So I think the lack of dramatic irony is actually pretty profound, that Sophocles could create this tragedy without using that. Any input on that?
But didn't they know, the chorus knew, didn't people, when they were warning him, it may be not overtly known, but they knew something was gonna happen. You can't, and maybe that's what's creating the tension.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say we never actually know what's going to happen. We know something is going to happen. We just don't know what it is. And I feel like that creates a lot more tension than already knowing what's going to happen and then the characters find out. And I think that's pretty profound that Sophocles could pull that off. Alright, yeah, I agree.
One thing you might want to explore, when you were talking about tragedy, you know, there's a difference between, is something tragic or is it merely sad and pathetic? We use the two terms, sad or pathetic, interchangeably with tragic, but literarily they're not the same. They're not the same at all.
I pretty much base my definition of tragedy now on what Aristotle wrote on tragic character, and I feel like each time he was warned, that was another mistake that Creon made. And that's how I'm defining my tragedy. It's someone who keeps making a mistake, and that eventually leads to their downfall.
Yeah, they have good intentions.
Right.
Well, for the most part, I mean, to them, they have good.
Exactly. And that's why I define all those instances of being warned. Now, we're going to talk about philosophies, psychology, and funnies. First quote. My king, there's nothing you can swear you'll never do. Second thoughts make liars of us all. That was from the Century. I feel like he is the most closed-minded individual in the entire book. He has the simplest psychology of animalistic behaviors. But he said this, which I thought was pretty profound. I think it's actually a quote that can be used. The last part anyways, second thoughts make liars of us all. Any input on that?
You're saying that's profound?
I think it is.
Well, if you took it in Creon's case, second thoughts make liars of us all, that justifies him not going back on his word.
I kind of saw this more as Sophocles' way of integrating philosophy into his play.
But wouldn't what he's suggesting is to not think about anything twice, not to go back on what you said before? Wouldn't that add to the Century's simple-headed behavior?
I suppose so.
I mean, the statement, I guess, would be profound, but the message behind it, I think, is just as simple as the Century himself.
Okay. Second quote.
Okay, wait a minute. Give your explanation of that quotation.
Of second thoughts make liars of us all.
Yes, what do you think that means?
I think that was one of Sophocles', let me go on this way. That's one of the aspects that has stood the test of time in his play, I think, because people are still like that. No matter what we say we're going to do or think we're going to do, even though we might do it, we still have second thoughts regardless. And that's just human nature, and we haven't changed yet, and that's why I think it's pretty profound.
Okay, when you say something, you go ahead and say, this is going to be the law, but you don't really think about it as much as you should. And then when those second thoughts roll around, you think, oh, I was wrong. Oh, I lied. I shouldn't have said that. That was a lie. I think what he's got to say is, do you keep right on with something wrong and refuse to change your mind so you won't be told a lie? Or do, when you recognize it's wrong, does the better person go ahead and say, okay, I made a mistake. We need to change this. This is wrong. What does Creon do? What does everybody else urge him to do?